All right, let's talk Michigan Wolverines football. Obviously, off to a strong start, working deeper into the conference schedule. Nebraska right around the corner, but obviously, what Michigan has done over the past couple of years has been very commendable. They've obviously won back-to-back Big Ten titles, back-to-back college football playoff berths. The talent on the field has been there, but it's not just what Harbaugh is developing on the field; it's what he's doing in the coaching staff, making a lot of smart moves in terms of getting coaches set up to succeed for future better roles. And there's a report out highlighting just that. Miles, if you want to go ahead and throw it up, this is from Wolverine Digest. I will read from it. All right, speaking on Inside Michigan Football Radio Show, Jim Harbaugh has a plan for young tight ends coach Grant Newsome. Newsome, 26 years old, is one of the youngest full-time coaches in the country. The former Michigan offensive lineman had multiple offers in the financial field that he could have pursued as a career, but the coaching path is the one Newsome wanted. So instead of taking a huge salary, Newsome talked with Harbaugh and stayed on at Michigan as a graduate assistant before earning his way as a full-time coach. Harbaugh believes Newsome is on his way to being a head coach eventually. He's going all the way, Harbaugh told John Jansen. He's going to the highest level of coaching. Head coaching is not a matter of if, but when. Harbaugh went on to say in the interview that he was essentially grooming him to eventually become the offensive line coach and then become the offensive coordinator when he's ready. That's assuming, of course, current offensive coordinator Coach Moore goes on to a head coaching job, which he probably will get a lot of offers and will leave sooner rather than later. I think this is a really smart move by Harbaugh, of course, to set up a deep bench of quality young assistant coaches to succeed and rise through the ranks. We see a lot of other smart coaches do this, and it's led them to a lot of success. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, Miles, but before I get into that, Michigan fans, obviously, big game against Nebraska coming up this weekend. Give us your prediction for the final score, Nebraska versus Michigan, in the comment section below. But all right, Miles, let me throw it back over to you now. What are your thoughts on this move by Harbaugh and everything he's doing in terms of developing a coaching staff for Michigan?
Yeah, Nick, I think it's really great because we see a lot of teams that come in and early on, you look at Colorado, they've had a lot of success, more than people thought they were going to have. And I think that's wholly because Deion Sanders collected a lot of talent at the assistant coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator positions. And that's really helped him out. I think the more you can get in your assistant coaching and, offensive and defensive coordinator positions, it is going to give your team sustained success if you can keep some really high level talent there. We think traditionally before the NIL era, Clemson did that. Dabo always took less money to give his assistants around him more money, and that helped Clemson become a powerhouse for a while there. They were national playoff contenders. They're still a very, very good team. I think if they adapt to the NIL era, I think they're going to be a really, really good team once again. I think this is a way that you can build a really strong team. Jim Harbaugh, a great head coach in his own right, a very good inspirational guy that you want to learn from, already has a strong coaching tree. So I think this is a really smart idea by him. Just seeing talent, collecting it, grooming them, trying to pump out guys at the next level that really can help this Michigan team still be contenders year in and year out. I think this is just a really smart way to do things along with all of the great recruiting they have done at Michigan.
Well, you kind of think it goes hand in hand, right? The fact that you have quality assistants, they spend a lot of time recruiting, right? So you want to develop these guys, let them grow into future roles, and that'll help them in the recruiting game because obviously, if you get these guys in the program for a long time, they'll become better and better recruiters for the program. So it kind of feeds off of itself, right? But when we look at programs in college football that have had long-term, I'll say dynastic success, you look at a program like Alabama, right? Nick Saban has famously been focused really hardcore on making sure he had quality elite coordinators and position coaches. Dabo Swinney with Clemson is a phenomenal example. Everyone wants to talk about the Trevor Lawrences of the world and the amount of talent they had, but they had a lot of great assistant coaches. Their coordinators were among the highest paid in college football, and a lot of them had become head coaches in their own right. People forget that flashes in the pan in terms of programs that have 1 or 2 good years and fizzle out. I look at almost the USC Trojans under Pete Carroll. They had just a 3-year magical run. They completely fell apart. Why? I think in big part because they didn't have a cadre of coaches to replace Pete Carroll. You look at Texas since Mac Brown, right? They have a lot of great recruiting classes. They don't have the assistant coaches to build up. They don't have the ability to build a long-term program. You have to have those assistant coaches trained, prepared to advance through the ranks. If you don't, eventually you'll have mediocre offensive coordinators and mediocre defensive coordinators, and that's obviously not a position you want to be in. I love what Harbaugh is doing here. First of all, making sure he brings a guy who should be making millions of dollars at Wall Street for Goldman Sachs or something like that, and getting him to be an assistant coach, a graduate assistant, and then working him through the ranks. But I also love the fact he's very outspoken and public about it, giving him that reassurance, that support he needs to stick with this coaching career and continue to develop. I've heard nothing but good things about Newsome. He seems to be obviously be on Wall Street, right? He's a really smart, really bright guy, hard worker. I think sooner rather than later, obviously, when Coach Moore moves on, he'll replace him as the offensive line coach and offensive coordinator. And I think Michigan fans, look, obviously, the past few years have been pretty good offensively. But once this young, potentially future genius takes over the reins of the offense, I think the sky's the limit. I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about Newsome. And the fact that Harbaugh has come out and said this publicly is just another great sign.
Yeah, Nick, and this guy's been a great developer of talent at the tight end position for Michigan as well. He came in as an assistant. He helped develop guys like Zach Gentry, Sean McKeon, Nick Eubanks. Came in as the coach, the head tight ends coach in 2022. Got Shoemaker, who was a really good name as well, and he has helped already develop the young rookie or freshman rather, Loveland when he was a freshman. Got him into the mix and really started getting his career off the ground. So this guy, he seems like a great coach. He seems like a good developer of talent, probably recruiting some of these tight ends as well, getting all of this really nice talent into Michigan. And just, I think this, like you said, this is perfect. I love that this guy's going to move up the ranks. He seems like a perfect fit to be in that offensive line, then offensive coordinator position as things go. And this is really going to send Michigan and keep them on the map for quite some time.